Hello and welcome into another episode.
Why was it chopping up?
That's what it's supposed to do at the little
It
intro.
stops like every 10 seconds. It was. I thought my computer was going haywire all of a sudden.
It might be my computer because I'm the one running the stream.
I don't know. It kept on stopping. That's why I messaged Miguel and he started laughing because I was like, what's going on here? It's stopping every 10, 15 seconds. Yeah, you can start the intro.
All right.
Good evening. This is
Good evening.
Connection.
Connecting with you, Italian football fans from all over the world. I'll tell you what I don't want to talk about very much in this episode are the Azzurri.
Talking about that.
I wasn't able to catch much of the game because I was working. I'm thankful that I wasn't able to catch much until the very end. But, obviously the whole buzzkill of not qualifying for the World Cup, my heart wasn't really in it. They got slaughtered by Argentina. The goals that Argentina scored were really nice. It was nice to see two Inter players score. You see what I'm saying there? Lautaro and Dybala. Both got one at the end, and Messi was trying to score that last goal himself. He got it stabbed away, and then Dybala. I think they may have credited Messi with an assist anyway because he's Messi. But listen, it was bad. Congratulations, to our Argentine friends. So we're going to be talking more Serie A on this episode. I am Alex Donno alongside Jerry Mancini as always. Let's introduce our special guest. He is representing a Scudetto winner. I am representing a Primavera Scudetto winner. Inter did get that the other day, but the actual grown men who won the Scudetto are being repped by Miguel Agyei, a.k.a. Milano Miguel. Welcome back to the pod, sir. How are you?
I'm great. It's been a great week. We won the Scudetto when people thought we weren't going to win it. We were kind of the silent assassins this year in Serie A, so I'm happy about it.
Yeah, just consistency, and it was remarkable. And Milan dealt with some tough injuries throughout the season, persevered through all of that. Magnan is incredible. I mean, incredible keeper. Rafael Leao had an incredible season as well. I want to ask you, Miguel, at what point, was there a certain victory, maybe a certain part of the season where you came to realize Milan, they're going to do this? They're going to get this Scudetto. When did you really become a full believer in that?
I think for me, the belief was there at the beginning of the season, but it wasn't until we beat Inter 2-0 where Giroud scored that brace where I was like, oh shit, they're really going for it this season.
That was the moment for me when I knew it was you guys' to lose, not ours.
Yeah, for sure. And we got knocked out of the Champions League. We didn't make it past the group stages, and just being able to focus on that, especially after Kier had that terrible injury. I think that just kind of honed in on the squad, and they were like, hey, we got to do something big this season. We got routed out by you guys in the Coppa Italia, which was embarrassing, but we came back and we won the league. So I'm ecstatic about it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, obviously I'm happy to have won the Coppa, Super Coppa, but the Scudetto is the real prize, man. That's I would take one Scudetto over the two other trophies that Inter just won. I mean, happy we won them. Don't get me wrong. It is what it is. Now, Jerry, I know we didn't want to talk much Azzurri, but you did say something to us on Twitter. Do you have a message for our friend Bonucci?
Oh, what did I say on Twitter? Oh, fuck.
It was funny, man.
God, hold on. No, you can't say. I have to say a word.
He's gonna find it now.
Oh yeah, Bonucci needs to retire like Chiellini.
Chiellini's not retiring. Chiellini's going to MLS. He's not. I'm
talking about the Azzurri. I'm talking about the Azzurri.
Oh, the Azzurri. Yes.
My bad. He can play Juventus still.
You're right.
It's good that he's playing shit and he'll make them shit. That's what we want. We want Juventus to be shit, not better. But no more. None of this 35, 36-year-old shit, man. I will say this. Everyone's slamming Mancini to the ground. This is like a retirement game to me, okay? That's what it was. I know people want to use this game as a way to get players to kind of get experience, and you're not getting experience from this game today. Me personally, I don't think so. I don't think it has that competitiveness like a real match does. I think Argentina looked. They made it look like they were more competitive. It was just that they were just trying more, in my opinion.
And
I
they're
think
really
they're
good. They haven't lost in 3 years. Like Argentina, they are
no,
really
absolutely.
good right now.
But you gotta look at Italy's standpoint. They just got eliminated from the World Cup. Okay, they lost to Macedonia. They're not interested in playing a team that's going to the World Cup. Their confidence levels will be here. Italy's confidence level going to that is like, what do we give a shit? We don't want to be here right now. We're
Right.
not playing for anything.
Right.
We're not happy that we're going to World Cup and you're going to World Cup. Like there's no sentiment there. It's just a friendly of I don't give a F, and that's it. That's to me though personally. Chiellini played his last game, deservedly so.
Yeah.
Other than him, like I don't know. I don't know what to expect with this team. Like Mancini has his hands full right now, and like I don't. There's a lot of positions that are just going to become weaker, in my opinion, as it progresses. I know everyone says we got Barella, and we got Locatelli, and we got
Tonali,
Bastoni in the back, and Tonali. These are good players. They haven't gone to that level yet of eliteness. I don't mean any disrespect to any clubs. Tonali's a great player. I think he had a really good season, but it came with learning experience as well. I think that Tonali this season was bad, but he was also, I think, more good than bad. But there are moments where he kind of disappeared at times. Bastoni has looked good this season, but there's been times where he's looked shaky. And what I'm trying to say is these guys are not completely matured and fully developed yet. And when you go on the big stage and you got to play in a bigger game, there are going to be hiccups and there's going to be good. And I think they're not there yet. And I think in time they will get there. Mancini took over a team that was more developed already. They were there at the time. And I guess his only flaw was he didn't change anything up after the Euro. Maybe try to get some young players in with the actual experience of like depth players. It's going to be hard. Like I know everyone raves Locatelli, but and he had the experience of the Euro, but I still think he's raw. And there was the step back. I don't think he played in the last 2 games as a starter, if I recall. It's gonna happen. Like there's gonna be a very up and down, volatile Italy team now, where it's gonna take some hits, and I think that's where the Nations League comes in, and it's really important where the Nations League really has to help Italy develop players. You don't want to see a Cherby play on Saturday. Like take a hike. I don't like you're 34. You did your nice magical story. You won a World Euro. Have a nice day. Like you got to see guys and you got to take chances on players. I think we have to take chances on players and give some guys a chance to see what they can offer. I'm not just saying like just guys under the rug. I'm saying like good players that we know in the league that can have a chance. I know Frattesi, I'm not a big fan, but maybe Frattesi can come in and do something if he's at that age. Just certain players in general. I don't know off the top of my head who would be considered for Italy. I don't really spend a lot of time like others do, maybe. Where you got this guy. I've seen guys online already making projected lineups for Italy on Saturday. I'm like, what the fuck? I'll leave it at this because I know I can keep on going. Everybody who criticize Immobile, good luck. I know that he's been disappointing. He hasn't lived to the expectations. But whoever's next ain't gonna fucking do better. I'm telling you right now, Scamacca is not the real deal. No. I'm sorry. I don't think he is the real deal. I watching him today.
Is anyone even trying to buy him at this point? I mean, it's like because we thought like okay, like last summer we thought. And then in winter as well, like before the summer transfer window, like we thought, oh, Scamacca, this guy's going to be a hot commodity. Someone's going to pay 35, 40 million euro for him. I don't think anybody's bidding on that. It's still early, I know, but I don't even think anybody wants the guy.
I'll even throw a curveball for you guys. I'll throw a question. So screw the lineup because I'm no professional, guys. I don't know who's better. I don't know who's worse. I don't know. Like I think coaching Italy based on reading books, I think one thing people have to understand is you don't have enough time to have these players play on a consistent basis in order to kind of gel together. I think that's the biggest challenge for a coach, is trying to make them kind of get that continuity and try to build that lineup. When people say, "Oh, why is the same lineup?" It's because they only play 3 games and then they go on a break. Then they play 3 games and then they go on a break. So you can't be changing your lineup every single game because there's no consistency. The biggest challenge, I say, it's this: if Mancini were to leave tomorrow, okay, and everyone got their wish, who do you replace him with? Like, seriously, that is an important question. You don't just get up and say, "Hey, let's get rid of Mancini." What are like the real options to come into this team? Because I
I'd like
personally don't know.
Azzurri.
Does he want to leave the club?
I don't know.
To go? No, nobody who I'm telling you right now. If you are coaching a club, you're not fired, and you're secure. You're not leaving your job to go coach Italy.
Well,
Because
what's the situation? I mean, he's in Ukraine, isn't he? I mean, I can't even imagine what the situation is
he's
there
under
right now.
contract though. Like, you don't know what the situation is.
Are they going to have a
right?
season? Like, I
don't know. But you can't do that. What happens if he leaves? He goes coach Italy, and all of a sudden he's got to go back to work and he's got to go coach his team. You don't just pick up and leave, right? You're under contract. I'm just saying, people think that, oh, get rid of Mancini, we'll get this next guy to come in. Who's to say he does as good? Like, and the options. Do you want an old guy? Like, let's just say, I don't know who, but you need young. I think this team needs young and more vibrant.
Yeah, don't bring in Claudio Ranieri.
So I'm gonna go off topic here. And I know hockey and football are two different sports, but I'll say this: the Edmonton Oilers this past season went to a young coach, okay, in his 30s, I think. He thinks the game of today, not 25 years ago, where you have you old school guys and you have your best players got to play 35 minutes. He has the mentality of 4 lines have to play with young players, and you have to adapt and you have a free flow. And I think that's what Italy has to do. A young coach who will play young players. You got some of those older players, and he's being able to be creative and adaptive and play to today's game. You don't want a guy who plays 25-year-old football from like 10, 20 years ago and doesn't adapt, right? I think football is changing a lot, and the younger coaches are figuring out how to communicate with the younger players too. I think that they're a different breed of how you talk to compared to what you did in the 90s. So I don't know. I like to hear what you guys think. Like, I don't know. You know what? If I had to go old school, I have to go off the map. And I know it's not what I'm preaching right now. The only guy I would think of who's not coaching, if I had to go with experience, is Ranieri. I wouldn't mind Ranieri. I like him. But again,
1,000 years old.
He is, but I know people are going to be against it. I'm just thinking.
See, I'll tell you why I'm against it. I will tell you why I'm against it, because I feel like we're hitting like another sort of rebuilding phase if Mancini does go. And I don't want, like, Ranieri for like the last 10 years, the guy's been a professional caretaker. Like, people bring this guy in to be like an interim manager, and like I don't know, like I want somebody, and this is obviously what Mancini did when he arrived. And I'm surprised we're where we are, because winning the Euro less than a year ago, I thought, oh, we're set. We're not set. Like, I don't, I want to give it to some. I think your original idea, Jerry, about somebody younger is the right way to go, because you want to start a new cycle with someone who can actually be around for a handful of years.
I don't know. What do you think, Miguel?
I mean, honestly, like you said, Jerry, like if Mancini was to go today, I honestly don't know who they would bring in. You mentioned the Azzurri, but like you said, does he really want to leave his club team to coach a national team when he has a job? He has job security there. They may not have a season or whatever, but he still has a job there. He's under contract. There's not many, managers on the market that actually want to leave their clubs to go to a national team. So, like, if you're looking for a national team coach, it's usually someone who doesn't have a job, who's had some type of football experience, and it just doesn't really mesh. And like you said, I think the issue with the Azzurri is confidence. People kind of figured them out after the Euro win. They didn't really adapt. They didn't change anything. And then on top of that, these players play completely different systems at their respective clubs. So then you bring them all together and you get 3 games together and you try to figure it out and it doesn't really work. I think the best solution for them is to keep Mancini on and let him use from now until the next year to rebuild. You got Chiellini leaving. Like you said, Bonucci might need to retire. Get rid of all the old dead weight of players. Acerbi shouldn't be called up again. He had his little Cinderella story. Cool, he won the Euro, but now it's time for us to give the youth players, the young players like Tonali, Locatelli, give those players more chances to find some type of chemistry so they can mesh together, because these are the future of the team. Chiellini's gone. Who else is gonna leave with him? There's not that many players that are that old that are gonna leave with him, but we need to figure it out.
But here's to back your point. Then Ranieri would be the caretaker guy, though. If you want a short-term gap to cover the hole, he is the short-term.
True.
He is a caretaker. He's not your long-term solution, but no coach for Italy is long-term. Let's be realistic.
Exactly.
I don't know how many managers. I think the Switzerland guy who used to coach for Lazio was like the longest with Switzerland, like 7 to 8 years, and that's like pretty long. I forget his name is.
It's a really long time.
But like, you know what? If I had to choose one, maybe Gattuso would have been good, but he's going to Valencia.
That's a good shout.
I like Gattuso.
Wasn't for that.
Gattuso thinks now. Like,
yeah.
Like, even Pirlo. I'm okay with Pirlo coaching Italy. I don't care.
Okay.
Who wouldn't be a bad shout?
Wouldn't be bad. I hate when people say, "Oh, how bad was he with Juventus?" He actually did better than Allegri last year.
Yeah.
Like, the stats prove it. Like, I don't know. Is Pirlo bad? No. Is he good? He's got to get there. But again, he needs time. He's young. Like, he's young, and as in managerial young, not player young.
Yeah, experience.
I mean, when he got the job to be the manager of the Juventus senior club, he hadn't finished his thesis yet.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy, like the way that they thrust him right into it. So, yeah, man, listen, I now people, when they watch this episode, they're going to think we were being sarcastic when I titled the episode, "Let's Not Talk About the Azzurri." And we end up talking about the Azzurri, but I want to talk about Milan and a little bit about Inter. And we have, of course, the man with us to talk some about Milan. Scudetto defense starts next season. Ownership has changed hands. It's been a crazy saga over the last couple of months, and you can speak on this, Miguel, in more detail than I can understand, because a couple of months ago there was talk about the Bahrain fund taking over. That didn't come together. Redbird are the new buyers, and there's been some negativity about this today, and I understand that negativity sells in the papers, especially the Italian papers, and so you can probably wax a little bit poetic on this, Miguel, because what I was reading today about the actual financials of the transaction, very odd, because Elliott, in selling to Redbird, are actually loaning them most of the money for the sale at 15% interest. So the company that's selling it is actually loaning money to the company buying it. So it's odd. And so a lot of people look at that and say, well, wait, that doesn't put them in the best financial position, at least not compared to what we were expecting.
Well, you got to think about it this way. Elliott always came in as a caretaker of the club to make a profit. They came in, they started this project, they wanted to bring some type of stability to the club and then gain a profit on it. So it makes sense as to why they're loaning the money with the 15% interest. Now, as to that, with the sale, Redbird purchased the club for $1.3 billion. They have 70% ownership of the club. Elliott has 30% ownership of the club. So, with that being said, even though Elliott is giving the club off to Redbird, they still own a stake in the club. So it's not like it's just like, okay, you bought the club off of me, it's yours. No, we still have a stake in it. It's not the most, but we still have a stake in it. So those numbers make sense. And then as to, the previous deals that, didn't go through, we had a couple companies come in. And I think that the people who are at the top of the table right now, which is Gazidis, Maldini, Masara, they didn't have the plan that they were looking for, and that's why those negotiations didn't really go through. I don't know if you guys know, but Paulo Maldini has been very vocal about the future for the club, and he's like, "Hey, we've had previous things in the past that didn't work, and I remember those things. So like, what we have right now, we're trying to build off of this so that we can compete in Europe, so we can get back to the days where Milan is winning a Champions League trophy." So yeah, we had. Um, Investcorp that came in. We had the Qatar company that came in, and those deals just didn't really work out because of the plans. It was going to
Right.
be one of those things where they were going to do what Young Hong Lee did, purchase the club, funnel in money, no actual plan. And Maldini and Masara and Gazidis were like, no, that's not what we want. Now, Redbird, they have actually done this before. They own Toulouse, who literally just gained promotion to Ligue 1. They own a share in Liverpool and also the Boston Red Sox. So they kind of know what they're doing. And the goal here is for, Redbird Capital to come in, fix up the club, make them a global brand, because Serie A has been lacking on the global market for a while. And because Milan has that big name and that history with the 7 Champions League, this is their big break, after just winning a Scudetto, to get more of a global push. So they're coming in to get a global push. Hopefully they'll be able to funnel enough money for Milan to build their own stadium and own a stadium, because we know we don't gain a lot of revenue with that. But they're basically coming in to spruce up the club and make it more so a Premier League club, like how Liverpool has done over the couple of years. Remember, Liverpool, they were close to winning a title, didn't win a title, brought in Jurgen Klopp, sold off all their dead weight, and then they invested really well, got Salah, Mane, won a Champions League, won a Premier League, and was just in the Champions League final as well. So that's kind of the trajectory as they're doing with this plan. And that's why, Redbird Capital Investments is kind of the best situation for us, because we didn't want a buyer to come in and just funnel in money and be like, hey, just purchase the best players on the market and we'll see how it works. So
No, and that's honestly that's an awesome explanation, and I knew I could get that from you, because even like obviously I'm not a guy who roots for Milan, and so a lot of people who are like Inter fans like see some of these negative headlines like, yeah, this is fantastic, but I always know there's more to the story, because I know the way Inter gets covered, where people just gobble up negative tidbits and headlines, and I know it's the same with Milan, Lazio, Juventus, and whoever. So is there like, and obviously when you're changing ownership, like the blueprint is kind of coming together. Maybe people aren't really publicly aware of what that is. What are you guys' ideas, Miguel, on the transfer market? Like, are certain specific players you think Milan are realistically targeting?
So I believe Milan has targets that they've already established. And those 3 targets are definitely Sven Botman from Lille, because Romagnoli is deemed to leave, and he's probably going to join Lazio because that's his fandom club or whatever. He loves Lazio, so he's probably going to leave. He won a Scudetto, bid well, fair enough for him. Kessie is going to leave, so his replacement is supposed to be Renato Sanch. So a 2-for-1 deal with Lille, which we purchased Magnan, and we got Rafael Leao from. So we kind of got that good rapport. So those 2 players probably
How much are you paying for Sanchez? Do you know? What are the rumors? Is it 25 million?
It's somewhere between 18 to 25 million. I don't know the
Not bad.
exact.
It's bad.
The exact.
You think that's?
I watch League On, and I'll tell you, I watched him this past season. Injuries have hurt him a lot. Injuries have caught up to him. He's not. His fitness level is really bad. Like, I watched him. I watch a lot of League On, and when I watched him, I noticed that he's very good offensively. On the offensive side, he can really score. He can attack. Defensively, and his positioning is so bad that I noticed that he can't track back. He gets caught out of position. He's been hurt a couple of times this year. He looks a lot slower than he did the year before, where I remember he played very well against Milan in the Europa League. and you guys played against him. I still remember that, and he got hurt in that two-legged game. I believe he got hurt in the second leg or in the first leg. Yeah, he's always had consistently injured every year, but like prior to last year, though, the year before, he was really good. I thought he had a really decent season where he was good at both ends. But I think the injuries in the last 2 years have really the latter end of the season prior and then this past season have really hurt him. I remember I watched him one game; he got hurt bad and he had to come off the pitch. And yeah, like I hope it works out because that's a lot of money, but.
Yeah, it'd be good for the league if it works out. I mean, I want players coming into Serie A and having an impact.
Yeah, but I mean, those are basically the two targets that Milan have personal agreements. I'd assume, and just kind of waiting on what the transfer budget's going to be. We already signed Divock Origi on a free transfer, so he's going to do his medical. Really soon, so that should be announced soon, with the whole takeover. And then I think from then on, the club is going to invest in a right winger and potentially another striker, a young striker, promising striker that they can invest heavily in, and then just have him be under the wing of Ibra, because Ibra is renewing for another year. And then from then on, it's just the contract renewals of players like Rafael Leao, Hernandez, Pierre Kalulu, all the talented players that we already have. We want to give them a new deal, give them a pay raise, and then contract them until like something like 2026, 2027 thereon. So that's kind of the basis of the plan for Milan right now.
No, it's solid, and obviously locking up the contract extensions for those players you mentioned, big. What about you, Jerry? With Lazio, Romagnoli, what else in the works?
I don't even know. Romagnoli is no longer a topic because of
What is that? Is that coming from where you are, Jerry?
No, it's from me.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit happens.
It sounds like a cartoon airplane is going down.
Yeah,
it's an ambulance.
Oh, okay. Now I hear it. It sounded like an airplane, like Bugs Bunny is flying. It's like
it's really weird with Lazio because yesterday was the day where you had to like submit your forms, everything for the liquidity index, which I freaking can't stand anymore.
Oh, that again?
Yeah, and we were the last team. Apparently, 15 minutes before midnight, they submitted their papers. Yeah,
wow.
That's Lazio for you. That's Latito. Yeah, we're rumored to Romagnoli. Dennis Suarez actually is the latest today.
Oh, I didn't see that.
La Liga, yeah, 28-year-old, I believe, forward or midfielder, more forward. There has been, who else is there? Mertens was rumored. I heard he's signing with Napoli. I didn't believe that was going to happen.
Yeah, every couple of years, because it happened with Inter a couple of years ago, where Mertens is like, he's good at playing ADL a little bit. Where he's like, yeah, I'm thinking of leaving. He's like, we want you to stay. Yeah, I want to stay too.
We're well, the owner of Verona said that he expects to do at least a deal or two with Lazio. Like he actually said that there's a good relationship the two clubs have. Ilic is one, and the other guy is Casale on the back end. And then there's Marco Antonio, who plays for De Zerbi's team there.
Shakhtar?
Yeah, he plays for Shakhtar. Apparently, he's supposed to be a very young midfielder.
I've seen him. He's good. He's good. As soon as you said that name, I was like, wait, where have I seen him? Because he's played against Inter a ton of times the last couple of years. He's solid.
But I think we're going to have the same issue again, that we need to sell somebody. I know that Alberto might be going to Sevilla. He has said that he wants to go back to Spain. And the price, apparently, Latito wants 30 million for Alberto and Sevilla. Monchi is a big fan of Alberto, so there is discussions there. Oh, apparently Dennis Vavro is on the verge of going to Copenhagen for 6 million, which is really big. Gonzalo Escalante is going to be going permanently to La Liga, I think for 3 or 4 million. And there's a good possibility that Vedat Marici gets bought out for 10 million by Mallorca. by Mallorca.
That's
Apparently,
the biggest win.
Yeah, they've already came to an agreement for a contract with him, and they really want him to stay there. They also said that if it didn't happen, there's the possibility that a loan deal for another year wouldn't be that bad either. It wouldn't be a loss or anything. He's off the books basically. So there's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes for Lazio, but they keep everything tight. That like as much as I report things for fun on Twitter, they're so annoying. I just find sometimes it becomes so redundant that I don't like to say like yesterday I tweeted out that Mertens's quote, which I thought it was cool, right? And how they offered double his salary. But I find that I can say that Romagnoli is close to a deal. But I kind of realize now, like I feel like the same thing is said every week. And you think that and it's like a new person says it. And it's like, who the fuck's telling the truth, man? Like seriously.
Yeah, but the thing is, the funny thing about the way that this works is because this happens all the time with Calcio reporting.
It's terrible.
You'll see like 3 or 4 different accounts and then 10, 20 different accounts that are reporting something. You're like, hey, 20 people are saying it, 20 reports. No, one fucking report. They're all just taking each other's stuff, right? Like one person reports it, 19 other people share it, and then you see all these tweets. You're like, look at 20 people are reporting so-and-so's coming to my club, and it all comes back to the same, maybe bogus, maybe not bogus report. So no, that's good. And something obviously there's been a lot of rumblings in the mercato with Inter, and like we got to get our guy Chris DeSantis back on at some point. This motherfucker, he's tweeting something today about how he's like, wow, for having no money, Inter sure are getting linked to a lot of players. But the thing, like, okay, first of all, they're gonna sell somebody big, unfortunately. So they're gonna raise funds, probably Bastoni. I think it's a mistake selling him.
I don't know why they're not selling DeVry.
Well, because you don't get as much
Too
money.
old.
I think he's probably also leaving, but he's older, so you don't get like with
Still
Bastoni.
sell him.
With Bastoni, yeah, but with
They're not going to
Bastoni,
get more than 20 million, maybe 15.
right. Whereas Bastoni, you could get probably more than 60, and it's like pure profit, right, for a young
Still
player.
sell him for something instead of losing him for free.
Yeah. No, but so like first of all, so yeah, they're going to sell somebody big, which is going to fund other parts of Mercato, and also a lot of the players that they're getting linked to are either free transfers or loans, and there are some high salaries, but they figure, and I've been told by a couple of people who are usually right about this stuff, that Dybala is basically done, that Dybala is coming in. The Lukaku thing is less certain. Dybala is 99% he's coming. So that's a free transfer, pretty high wages, but no transfer fee. And then if they are able to bring in Lukaku, it'd probably be, a loan fee of maybe about 15 million euros, dry loan, or maybe like a really high option to redeem. And so, that would be a lower cost operation. Gleison Bremer is likely coming in. That would be for a reasonable transfer fee. Why are you groaning? You don't want to see him at Inter?
No.
I don't know, man.
Come to Milan.
I don't know. It's really
not a
weird
done
with
deal.
Inter.
It's not a done deal, but because was the thing, and also I think Gleison Bremer, if they sell Bastoni, he comes almost for sure because he's already agreed to terms with Inter. They have to come up with the transfer fee. So if they do sell Bastoni, he's coming for sure. If they don't sell Bastoni, probably not, because I don't know where the money would come from. But I hate to see
it, man. I don't get the marketing. Like I don't get the numbers. How you go sell Bastoni for 60 million. All of a sudden you turn around and you go fucking sign 3 new players for X amount of wages, and like it just throws me off. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Well, they'd still be saving money. Like they could sell Bastoni, bring in Gleison Bremer for similar wages and the transfer fee that's about half what they're selling Bastoni for. So it actually makes sense. Like the mathematics of it makes sense. And so like, I was gonna say I hate seeing Ivan Perisic go, because that Robin Gosens is obviously a nice replacement. We haven't really seen, because he barely played for Inter last year, so we haven't really seen like how he fits yet. whereas Perisic, fit like a glove. So I don't know. Like Gosens could be not nearly as good as Perisic was, could be close to, could be better. I don't know. But Perisic is tough. Good replacement though. And yeah, if Bastoni goes and they do bring in Bremer, that's an excellent replacement. So and then if you're talking about bringing in Dybala for sure, possibly Lukaku also for the front line, I don't really think Inter are getting much worse. I don't know how much better they're getting, but like a lot of Interisti are like freaking out about Suning, like they hate the ownership, which I understand.
He's terrible.
Like,
Sorry.
awful.
He's terrible.
But the thing is,
I like him.
If they make the moves the way that I described it, like I don't know how much better they're getting, but they're not getting much worse. So it's not like they're going to go from second place to sixth place.
Could be worse.
Like that. Like,
What about top four?
Yeah.
I don't know. What about Dybala, Gosens, and fucking Correa can't stay healthy next year?
Yeah, it's a problem.
That's a big problem.
Yeah,
they're all injury concerned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you can still make things happen. You saw what happened with us,
Yeah, but you're those are your core players you're losing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how strong Inter's bench will be this season compared to last season. I think their bench was.
Look at Milan's bench. We don't have anybody that we can bring off the bench that makes a huge impact. But like, if you get players to tap into a mentality where it's like, hey man, when you get a shot, this is all you got. Make it count.
Yeah.
I think that would really help. Inter's in a similar position that Milan was in a couple of seasons ago with the Young Hong Lee era, where it's like, okay, we fucked up our finances. What are we going to do to bring stability to the club? And it makes sense with what they're doing. Yes, it sucks. We had to sell Cutrone. You guys have to sell Bastoni. It shit hurts because it's like, okay, this is the young guy who we thought, might be the next legend of the club. And, we got to sell him just to make sure that the club doesn't sink underwater. But with the moves that, Alex has just pointed out now, granted, I think that the Lukaku deal is going to be the hardest one of them all because Chelsea wants to make their money back on that 115 million investment, which is probably not going to happen. And I don't think they're going to settle for anything less than 90 million. So that's going to be hard. Maybe just the dry loan with the 15 million loan fee or whatever, that might work for you guys. But other than that, Inter really isn't getting that much worse. They're keeping the core players. They're adding Dybala. They have Gosens. We just need to see how it's going to pan out. And I think that Inzaghi's the guy who's going to make it all work. He did a great job at Lazio. He has that experience now under his belt. He finished second, and he had probably the highest point tally in recent history at Inter. So I think some people are blowing this out of proportion. And it doesn't make sense for us because, like, some of us don't really understand the entirety of football and how things work. But stability is still there at Inter. They're not losing too much. They managed to come in second when losing Lukaku, losing what's his name? Hakimi.
Yeah.
Those are two big parts of their team, and they managed to figure it out. So I think they could do it again. As long as you guys make it back into Champions League, I think you guys will be fine.
I'm gonna reiterate that. Hold on.
Sure.
Joseph tweeted out a very good tweet the other day on Monday, and it basically compared and contrast between what Paolo Maldini said about winning the Scudetto versus Aurelio De Laurentiis.
I saw that.
I didn't see that.
It was really good because the way Milan won the Scudetto is in my opinion, is 1 in a million. It's very hard to sustain what they did in today's football. I think it took time. I agree with Miguel. Like it was a 2.5 year project.
It was a great project.
Time.
Yeah.
But I also think that it's hard to sustain that with the, like you just said, look at our team. Look at the players we had to win with it. It's very hard to win with that consistently. I think there was a blend in Milan's favor too, where Juventus really took a step back this year. Napoli falter at the end of the year. And I think that not having Victor Osimhen for most of the year really hurt them, in my opinion. And then you got Inter, who basically shot themselves in the foot, really. It was their Scudetto to win since mid-season. Like they were in the driver's seat. They
were 7 points up. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you can call Inzaghi the choke artist right now because he did it with Lazio.
Yeah.
You're right, but at the end of the day, you're the coach. You got to figure out how to get it done too, right? Your substitutions, your rotation, how you manage your players, not overusing them, when to use them. there was a lot of decisions he made that were really questionable, and he dropped points too. I know
But you
coach, there's a
gotta cut
blend.
him some slack, and this is Inzaghi's first big job where he's under
No,
a huge
absolutely.
ass spotlight, like, and to come in second, win the Copa, the Super Copa, he's had a pretty fucking good season if you ask me.
Yeah.
No,
No,
absolutely. But
I
you
completely
can't
agree.
just put a blind eye and say that he was not at fault, though. You can't, man.
That's true, but I also believe that from that he's gonna learn from his mistakes and not repeat them next season.
It just before I go to Joseph's point for Napoli podcast, Forza Napoli podcast, I just think that the mistakes he did were the mistakes I saw at Lazio on a
Mhm.
5-year season, and you talk about learning from your mistakes, right? And it's like this guy doesn't learn from his mistakes. It's the same thing over and over. The rotation, starting the same lineup, game in and game out, and deciding to start using Correa with Lautaro 5 games left in the season when he could have done it 4 games earlier. It's the things that he knows and he does redundantly, and it's got nothing to do with playing with Inter. It's just it's an Inzaghi mentality that he needs to break that barrier. There are a lot of games where you just Alex can say it, where his substitutions were like, "What the fuck just happened? Like,
Yeah.
why? Why?" But
Yeah,
it's
but
not
then
just on him. It's not just
yeah.
on him. There's a lot of games.
Yeah, but then it's like,
What's he
but
gonna
I
do?
also feel like, and there were a few times
Like
when
Radu, what's he gonna
maybe,
do? Radu, he's play goalkeeper.
yeah,
Like,
Radu had to play. I mean, he could have played the third goalkeeper, Cordas, but man, it's just like, and honestly, like I can't blame him for Radu. You blame ownership for Radu, because
yeah, it's not all on him, man.
if they had if they were in a better position to spend a summer ago, they prioritized other positions, because they made some plus valenza with the sales, but then they reinvested a good chunk of that money, but they had to prioritize other positions. They needed another right wing back. They needed to, address the front line, and they just didn't have the X. So they looked at it and they said, well, why are we going to spend a lot of money on a backup keeper when we need to prioritize starters at other positions? And so their backup keeper is, he should be like selling hot dogs on the street. The guy's freaking terrible. Like, it's just, he's not a real keeper. They actually are getting a backup keeper who could end up being the starter. Andre Onana is coming in and it's funny because at the time when they agreed to his free transfer, he was presumed to be the surefire Handanovic replacement.
Right.
And then Onana, who had to miss some time, he was injured and suspended. When he started playing again at Ajax, didn't look so great. And then Handanovic actually had some good moments and wants to stay longer. So they're going to be battling it out this coming season. But at least we're actually going to have like 2 options at keeper instead of 1 option at keeper.
I just don't like the fact that when you buy a guy like Correa and Caicedo, and I know Caicedo didn't cost much, but still, you wanted a player, you bust balls to get a player, and you fucking don't use him. Or you don't, like, I understand Correa was hurt, but when he was healthy, it's like the way he used him was just so dumb. Like, you had him at Lazio, you don't have a brand new player. Like, you know how to use him. You wanted him, play him.
Yeah.
Like, I think that Correa was really bad this year. Was good at times. Was good
in
at
3
times.
games.
But I think that he didn't get that rhythm too. I like ripping on him because I see him in barbecue pictures and it's fun. I think it's just fun. I don't care. I'm not bitter. I think people think that I'm bitter. I don't give a shit that Correa's gone. I can care less.
Yeah.
I would care if Savage got sold tomorrow, but then the day after, Lazio goes on and it's not going to end, right? But I want to get to my point, and I'll end it there, what I have to say. And basically, he's like, I thought the contrast was interesting. This is from Joseph, and I thought he said a good point. Yeah, Joe, I'm quoting you out here, buddy. Maldini basically said, if you don't spend money, you're just one of 6 or 7 clubs hoping to win the Scudetto or qualify for Champions League. But if you invest, we can compete in Europe, even in Europe. Meanwhile, ADL says, look at Milan. They won the Scudetto with a lower salary than us. So we need to reduce our wages. That's basically what he's saying. So he goes, Milan winning the Scudetto was bad for us because now all of a sudden you see owners are like, oh, Milan won it with a less budget than us. Then we can do that too. You see the trickle effect, but
That's terrible.
You cannot sustain it like that.
No.
Because now ADL thinks it's possible to win the Scudetto without spending too much. So, but Maldini's point was that they got everything right this time, but you can't expect to win consistently with that approach.
And Maldini's right. He
Maldini's
is a
right,
million
man.
percent
And
right.
I think this is a really good thing that Joseph at Forza Napoli podcast is a great point. I wanted to point this out because we're on the topic now, and I think that tweet he made is fantastic because guys like ADL and Latito they're so stupid. No, I hate to say it. They're that stupid to say, hey, you know what? Because they're so cheap. They're like, oh yeah, they're so cheap. They're like, yeah, well, if he can win a Scudetto with $50 million, and I'm spending $80 million, why the fuck am I gonna spend $80 million? I'm gonna do it with $50 million. And you get what I'm trying to say, Miguel. I just think that I think Milan did a good job, and Maldini hit out the park. He got the guys for a good price, and I respect him. If people can do business like that on a consistent basis and somehow manage to win a Scudetto, all the power to them. I think it's just so hard, considering that it's hard to keep players at a low wage, right? They're gonna want to go. Like loyalty is very hard. Like look at Leao, he's gonna get paid.
Yeah,
he's gonna get paid.
He deserves to be after what he just did.
Yeah.
I think he's a good player. I would like to give him one more year to see if he can do it a whole year. The problem with Leao was he hasn't gone in. I'll say this with Leao, since we're on this topic now. I think that Leao hasn't put a full season together in Serie A yet, where it's been wow to wow. It's been, where are you? Oh, there you are. That was amazing. You know what I mean? Maybe
Yeah.
Miguel, I'd like to hear what you have to think about that, because I think that there's spurts of Leao where like, wow, this guy's got all the talent in the world. Then all of a sudden tomorrow morning, like you see him again, you're like, did he like have you cigarettes, a few beers last night, and the guy just decided to jump off the till? Like, what's going on here? Like, I've seen Leao this year where like that pass, like he gets from Magnani, he goes down the wing and he scores against, I think it's Sampdoria, and they win 1-0, and it's like, wow. Then all of a sudden you see him make runs like that, and like he just goes into a corner into nothing. Like,
I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I think Leao's season this year really showcased that he's capable of being the Leao that we saw this season for an entire season. But at the same time, you have to think about it. Milan doesn't have the creative midfield, or the creative wingers. He's the creative source. So he's been doing a lot of shit in the league. He does his twists, his turns, his step overs. There are certain moments where the league kind of figured him out. Okay, pocket him in the corner, don't give any space, and he'll be trapped. Things like that. But you put Leao with a genuine center attacking midfielder who has technical ability and who's that game changer that can make that pass that gets him open on the wing where he can cut in and then shoot it. I think you'll get a Leao that gives you 20 plus contributions in the season. And I think that's what's coming up soon, because Milan are trying to invest. They're trying to bring in a right winger who can compete with Leao, and then bring in another center attacking midfielder who's first, world-class quality. Once you do that, Leao can unlock so many things. Leao took a bunch of the load for a team that doesn't have an actual striker. Yeah, we have Giroud, we have Zlatan. They did their due diligence. They scored some goals, but most of the goals were all coming from Leao. You look at Leao's goals and assists, majority of them come through Leao. So, he's had his ups and downs in the Serie A, but I think he's finally found himself. And now it's like you said, it's time for him to take that next step, where next season he has to do this all season long. And then he's in that conversation like, wow, okay, he's really the real deal. He's really talented.
Checking this right now. Prick.
What are you checking?
Stats. Player stats. Yeah, I have the app here. Yeah, so he's got 11 goals. Giroud has 11. Don't slap on Giroud. Giroud's got 11 just like Leao.
I
That's
didn't say
consistency.
I'm not
Yeah,
slapping on Giroud.
but that's playing as a 9, not as a winger. Leao creating a lot more than Giroud created. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
that's the guy that I
And
really
8
feared
assists.
going up against Milan.
He's got the most assists on the team, eh? He's got 8.
Yeah, I mean, he was creating everything from that left side.
That's what I'm saying.
Tonali's got 5 goals, eh? That's pretty good
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Tonali in his first complete season.
Yep.
I think it's pretty decent. I think he gets shit on too much, man.
He does.
Gets
I
shit
don't
on way
think
too much.
does he get shit on, like he got shit on last season. I don't feel like he got shit on much this season. I thought he had a really
You'd
good
be
year.
surprised. I think
No, he
people
Really?
was definitely still shit on this season.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, Tonali scored this game. Okay, what's he doing this game? We didn't see much of him. Da da da. And it's like, he's not gonna give you something every game. Okay, let's just face the facts. He's a defensive midfielder.
Right.
His goal is to win the ball back, make some crunching tackles, pass it up the field. That's his goal. He wasn't the deemed free kick taker. He scored that wonderful free kick goal, which was amazing.
Yeah.
But he's just that guy that if an opportunity presents himself, he'll score. And that's what he did in the last couple of games. He scored a goal against Atalanta. Like, that's just how it is. And I think for a player that young, having his first full season as a starter, he's done great. So I don't get why people are shitting on him and saying he goes MIA. Like, Kessie didn't have a great game every game. So why are you shitting on Tonali?
I don't know. But
I'm just looking at your roster, man. Bakayoko gets to go home with a Scudetto. Samu Castillejo gets to go home with a Scudetto.
Salad Baker.
Yep.
Oh fuck, Salad. You know what, Matt? As much as I shit on the guy because I don't think he's a talented player, he hustles. I'll give him that. And
he's a pest.
Sure.
He's a pest.
He hustles. You can't say as bad as he is skillfully, I think, and it's not nice. He got there. He plays. I don't play there. I think what he has complemented the team in some games this year where he has been a difference maker and has given that edge, that spark, that hustle, and he's made a few big key plays. So can't say, but I'll end it there because I know that you want to probably go eat, Alex, and I know you're gonna get to that topic soon.
Oh, I'm hungry. Yeah, well, let's run. But first, I want to give everybody a chance to plug anything that they're working on and where to find them. Miguel, awesome jobs as always. And listen, you're an up and comer in the media business, so I hope people find you. Where can they follow you?
Yeah, Twitter at Miguel Agyei 29. That's really what I've been doing. I kind of stopped the YouTube dig because just life got busy and I got to focus on my professional career right now. So the YouTube's kind of something that I'll do whenever I have free time, but I really haven't had free time lately. But yeah, follow me on Twitter. I got a lot of stuff that I'm working on that, in the next couple months, hopefully I can release out on there.
I'll have to figure it out, Jorge. Round 2.
Yeah, well, what's going on? Are they arguing? Is that what's going on?
Oh, he wants me to do a poll. Who has bigger guns?
Oh.
I just feel like people are gonna hit me. I feel like that's gonna like bounce on me, and people are gonna be like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" Like they're gonna think I'm weird. I don't know. Like it's. I would like to do it. Don't get me wrong. I think it's funny, but I just think people are like, "What?" Because I know we did. Who has the better chin? If you could do something who has the better chin, something like that, I'm all game for it. Arms, I already know who won that one. Lucci.
It's Luch, yeah.
So if it's not weird, why don't you do it then? Prick? What is this? You prick?
Jerry, you writing anything this week?
I wrote a piece on why Lazio should sell Luis Alberto, which should be coming out eventually. But yeah, I think they should get rid of him, and that's it. Get rid of that fucking guy. I liked what he's done for 6 years, but now is the time to sell him. See you later. And I'm gonna end it there because I'll keep on talking.
No, you're good, my friend. You're good. Everybody, make sure you follow the show at CalcioConPod on Twitter, and we will talk to you again next time on another episode of the Calcio Connection podcast. Ciao.